Good afternoon, people. Welcome back to DR Sports for another edition of the Weekend Roundup, hosted by myself, AGT. On my right, fresh from another L, we have Matisse with no earring. I can confirm the earring is no longer in that left ear. Oh, but there's some movement into the pocket. What have we got in the pocket? Is it the earring? It is. The earring has moved from the ear to the pocket, telling you everything you need to know about Chelsea's recent form. And Matisse's earring curse, which still hasn't been listed. Opposite to Matisse, we got the big dog, Robbie, in the building. Any earring for you?
Hold on. VAR decision, wait.
Right.
No earring. No earring.
That is confirmed. And of course, we've got the one and only, fresh from another 13th now defeat in the Premier League. Abby Summers is with us as well.
Ange. I ran up the M1 for him. I've backed him. It's taken a toll on my health, as you can see. I was in Iceland the weekend trying to cool off, but my head is hot again. Highline is a word I hear in my nightmares. Levy is taking us fans for mugs. We have fans smashing stuff on their heads. We have Everton fans trolling us. You know what? I'm looking forward to Bovril and Pies next season in the Championship. Sorry, guys, not meaning to rant. How's my makeup today? Doesn't matter. Just do your best cook away. I'll just sit here and listen.
Thanks, Abby.
Thanks.
It's important that we give her the first word of the weekend.
Yeah.
And
Abby, are you okay? Abby,
are you okay?
Are you okay?
Abby, are you okay? Pretty lifeless, as you can see. But big up to her for making it into the studio today after that trip to Iceland at the weekend. Shout out to everyone who's locked in. Smash that like button. Let's get the comments in. Let's get the subscriptions in. Shout out to our new members that have joined the chat as well. But there's only one place to start, Rob. And it is, of course, Tottenham Hotspur. As I just mentioned there, 13 defeats now in the Premier League. Van Nistelrooy's first Premier League win against Leicester. Of course it was against Tottenham. They were dishing out appointments left, right and rhubarb. Previously, they'd lost 9 games in a row. But now they've beaten Tottenham, Rob. What are your thoughts?
I think I predicted it, didn't I? I knew that this was not even a bad mind prediction.
Yeah.
This was like a prediction like, I just know these Tottenham. And then I looked at it, I thought Tottenham, they got Hoffenheim during the week, right? And then they got the game, and then, Leicester got all week to prepare. And I just knew it might be a little Vardy game. And it was. Oof. And when Vardy pointed to that Premier League badge and pointed at the Spurs fans just to say, we've won the Premier League, you ain't. That was vintage Jamie Vardy, and I loved it. And honestly, Tottenham have lost at home to Ipswich.
Yeah.
At home. They've lost at home to Leicester. They drew at home to Wolves. These are all the relegation-threatened teams. Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, they're in a relegation battle now. They are in a relegation battle. When I looked at their games coming up, listen, they're probably not going to go down.
They won't.
Because the 3 teams down there. But what if one of those teams put a little run together? Right? Because Everton are on the same. Everton above them now, isn't it?
They just won as well.
Yeah, Everton won. They're above them, right? And remember, a couple of weeks ago, Everton were in a shout for relegation. That's why they sacked their manager. Tottenham's games coming up. They've got to go away to Bournemouth. They've got Man United at home. Listen, I know Man United may not be performing, but that's never an easy game, right? They've got Man City.
They've got everyone.
Liverpool
They've got to go away to Liverpool in the Carabao
Villa
Cup.
away.
They've got to go away to Villa. They've got some really tough games coming up. And I know, listen, injuries is true. We know they've had horrendous injuries. But I saw Bournemouth at the weekend. They had 8 first-team players missing, Bournemouth. 8. And they still beat Forest 5-0. I'm not saying that, it doesn't affect you when you have a lot of injuries. It does. But not 13 defeats this season. How is Big Ange still there? Can somebody tell me how he's still there? How he's still in the job?
I think.
How's he survived?
I think they're hoping on the cup competitions, but personally, I don't see them going through in the second leg against Liverpool. The Europa League, no chance. I don't think they'll win that. And you're looking at the FA Cup, and I think they might have
away at Villa.
Away at Villa.
Away at Villa.
Exactly. I mean, that doesn't look great either. So I think they're biding their time, but the conclusion is going to be the same. And it is a disgrace to lose that many games. Like, the only reason why I say they're not in a relegation battle is purely because 8 points is a lot of points. And usually down there, nobody gathers up 8 points in in a short space of time. They're down there because they're bad. They're not down there for any other reason. It's not because it's a fluke or there's some sort of run coming. There's no title winning run coming from any of those teams down there, which is what it takes to kind of, eat up an 8-point gap. Tottenham only need to win 3 games and a draw out of the remaining games and they'll be safe. It won't be 40 points this season to stay safe. That's what annoys me. If this was a season, and I've mentioned them before, a Blackpool, Ian Holloway, Charlie Adam, Fraser Campbell, if we had a couple of teams with a bit of quality, then we could really say, yo, these lot are in trouble. But it's too far. It's too much.
Well, I mean, they keep surprising us with their losses. We joked before on the show on Thursday that Dr. Spurs are in town. They probably dish out a little 3 points to Leicester. And that's their first win in 10 games, Rob.
Listen,
how on earth are Tottenham losing at home to Leicester?
It's ridiculous. I saw Abby, I know she is over in Iceland at the moment enjoying a little break, and good luck to her, man, because she needs it. And she put on her Instagram story, one ticked off the bucket list. And with my Arsenal hat on, I had to say, next year you can tick off Millwall away as well as being on your bucket list.
That's the London derby.
But no, I mean, I saw Expressions losing it yesterday. I saw Fuad smashing up my studio. Yeah, Fuad. Yeah, I mean, a bill's coming your way for breaking up all our pictures and that. But I can get it. I understand it, man. Honestly, how much more pain can they go through? I mean, this is bad, man. This is horrendous. Like, they are shocking at the moment. They are absolutely shocking. I mean, 13 defeats for... honestly, I don't know how he's still in a job. I'm sorry, you lose a lot of players to injury. You've got to get a bit more resilient. It is difficult. It is tough. Nobody cannot deny that when you're missing your goalkeeper, you're missing a couple of your best centre-backs, it's going to be a problem. I remember a couple of seasons ago when Saliba went out, we weren't the same team. Yeah. But you still should have enough. And then the other thing I don't understand is why are they not helping him, the board? Why have they not gone and got him a centre-back this January transfer window?
They've got 2 centre-backs out. One that does get injured quite frequently in Van der Ven because of maybe the amount of ground he has to eat up on the recovery, on the transition. Yeah. But they already only had 3 centre-backs coming into the season. Let's not forget, Ben Davies is not a centre-back. It's Dragerson, Romero, Van der Ven. How can you come into a season with European football included in it with only 3 centre-backs for 2 positions? That's crazy. That's ridiculous. You haven't given the option of maybe changing to a back 3 if you're having defensive issues because you don't have enough centre-backs. Can't even finish off the back 4 in terms of numerically, don't have enough numbers. How they haven't gone into this window and treated it like a crisis situation to say, right, This is a manager that we truly believe in from the board perspective. We want to keep him. He's under a lot of pressure. Let's at least bring in spine players. Let's go and get a centre-back. Heck, let's even go and get another winger because the left wing is just Werner and all these other guys that are not on the level. And then maybe even get a DM and say, do you know what? We don't have an issue going forward. I looked at their goal difference. It's always been comfortably in the pluses.
They score goals.
They score goals. It's always comfortably in the pluses. Like when you look at teams in around this part of the table, it's -20s, it's -16s. We were joking about with Man United for all these years, 0, -1, -2, -3. They're on 9. It doesn't make any sense that every loss is like by 1 goal, and they are, as we've seen, go to Man City, go to Manchester United, clean up 3-0s. They can play good football, but they just don't have the options that they need.
Mind you, Big Ange said that everything is much better than when he first joined. Wow. What is he talking about? You know what I mean? They've lost 13 games. They're down near the relegation zone. It's not better. It's worse. Right? I listen, it's great to see as an Arsenal fan. You know, I don't know if I'd want them to go down though.
Are you mad? I want to Expressions going to Bolton.
I don't know, man. What would happen to Best of Enemies and
you
them
just
showing?
Literally just segue to him. Now give us an update on the Championship. It's never crossed my mind what I would do.
Do a Best of Enemies 2, Sunderland fan, Millwall fan.
No. Keep him on the show. You keep chatting to him. You should ask him what's going on in the Championship. Again, she stays.
Big Six.
We keep asking.
Are Tottenham a Big Six club
They
anymore?
stay. They don't go anywhere. They don't get to run off and go and join some Championship panel. No. You stay here and you answer the questions. What's going on in the Championship? Yes. That just makes us more well-versed. That's an improvement.
Well, we've asked the people in the chat, should Spurs sack Ange? Currently, 2,500 votes. And Rob, it's 50-50 in this poll right here. Should Spurs sack Ange? Get your votes in now. A couple super chats to get through. Joshua, Bournemouth have 10. I'll repeat that again. 10 first-team players out. And they still keep winning. Newcastle had it last year.
Yep,
Injury excuses to hide behind poor management.
Listen, Newcastle had it last year and it affected them because remember the season before they did really well, Champions League and all that.
Yeah.
Then they had it last year. They didn't make the Champions League. But it still wasn't as horrendous as what Spurs were doing. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's definitely going to be a drop-off if you've got that amount of injuries, but it shouldn't be as bad as it is. That's what you had a lot of injuries last year, remember?
Loads.
But it wasn't as terrible as what we're seeing there, and you rallied, didn't it?
Well,
You rallied to
managed to get back there.
honestly, I just don't see what's going on there. It's like crazy.
But who would they bring in to replace him right now? Because
This-
if I'm Areola, I'm not going anywhere near that football club.
Well,
Like,
what
I'm
about
building up a great CV.
to keep them in the league? Sean Dyche is out there.
Big Sam. Oh, you laugh.
It's funny,
Keep
but
you up.
Bro, he's ready.
Keep you up all day long.
no, that would be crazy. That would
Lost
actually be
Boy
mad.
911 says, is it just me or the refs hate Arsenal? We're going to speak about that shortly. Jono, Leicester fan. Hi, Abby. It's the Leicester fan with the badge. Just want to say that Vardy lives rent-free in your heads.
Big up
Plus,
Vardy, man.
Red Bull gives you trophies.
Big
Says
up
Jono.
Vardy.
Shout out Jono as well.
And I loved it. And listen, Vardy gets a lot of stick at games, right? He gets stick, right? If you go to games, you may not hear it on TV, go to any game, Vardy gets terrible stick.
And his wife.
Right? About his wife. That's most of it's always about his wife. Your wife is this and that,
Grass
right?
and that, yeah.
And so he's allowed to give it back.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I saw this week where the Brighton guy got booked for doing a seagull celebration.
Ndiaye.
Ndiaye got booked.
Giving it all that.
Why? Why are you getting booked for that?
Woke nonsense. Why are you getting
listen,
booked
inciting
for
violence in
inciting
the
violence because
crowd.
you're pretending to be a bird? Is this what we're doing?
Yeah, whereas Phil Foden can do that.
Yeah, but I don't mind that either.
Yeah, that's
like,
fine.
Yeah, let him celebrate.
Let anyone do
Let
whatever
do
they
whatever
want.
celebration you
I
want to do.
think the Adebayor one, that's where the line is.
Yeah, he
crossed
went a
little
bit too far.
Right?
I'm cool
But
with that as well.
But
be honest.
he actually went a bit too far because I think, listen, I always said with that Adebayor one
I'm cool with that.
is that it was running the whole length of the pitch
Cool,
to
let
the
him do
fans.
it. He's gonna
But
let
listen,
him do it.
have you seen the recent video that he's done? And
What?
He a video where he's talking about it. He's got no regrets. He said, right? And
Cool.
And
Why should
I
he
know-
why-
I know what
but-
he said.
But why should he regret it?
What
Why
he
should
said-
he regret
what he
running
said-
up the length
what-
of the
what he
pitch
said
to
in that
celebrate?
video-
Like, that's football.
what he said in that video is actually true because I remember David Dean saying to us, he was part of the board at that time, and he said that basically he wanted to stay. And Arsenal said to him, no, we want you to go. We want the money.
It's quite similar with
Right,
the
and
Fabregas
then
situation.
yeah, and then
as well.
like he said, he was getting a lot of
Exactly.
quite racist abuse
Yeah.
he was getting from fans.
Let me make some points.
So when he run that, he was actually, you know what I mean?
Robbie, these players, they're subject to abuse from fans. Like, when you're going to take a corner, you can get called anything.
Coins.
Your family can get called anything.
Bottles thrown
you
at
get
you,
all sorts
like
of
Declan
crap
Rice
in
the
your
other day.
DMs. Then you got clubs doing up PR who will sell you because they need the money and they'll tell you need to leave. You can't sign the contract, right? You were just talking to Sol Campbell the other day. He was telling this story. Then you don't get to tell your side of the story because you got to be quiet. Then the fans give you crap for what the club made you. Are you mad? I'm running up the length of the pitch, no problem. I'm doing it twice. And you shouldn't be booked for
listen,
it.
I'm of
You
the
shouldn't
thing.
be booked
Listen,
for
I'm
it.
of the thing. Listen,
I agree.
you could criticize that player, you can think, but to be honest, yeah, we give it to players. Let's be real.
Exactly.
We give it to players every week as fans. They're allowed to. A seagull celebration. Come on.
Stupid, man.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. DSY, Arsenal have overblown their treatment by the referees this season, but they were absolutely fleeced on Saturday. We need the VAR audio to hear Oliver's reasoning behind it. It's a terrible look. JQ is a gold level member. Shout out to you, my G.
big up.
A Wahab says, Arsenal fans bitching about refs has manifested into threats. The worst VAR decision was Liverpool and Spurs, and even the Liverpool fans didn't react like this. Pavanic says, sorry?
You didn't
Listen,
react badly
if,
to it.
If you lot were threatening
I don't think
Gerrard burn his house down, I'm sure he did say something about the referees.
Oh, no,
man.
for
Stop
sure.
this.
But
Stop
I don't
this
think the
foolishness.
address was found. and
Like,
stuff
Liverpool
that.
fans aren't going to come and do something. Come on, man.
We can do that. If you like. Pavanit says, breaking this season Tottenham, inspired by a popular adult star, which I'm not going to name. took on the challenge of letting anyone come through and violating them. Ipswich, Everton, Leicester Palace, anyone can get some. London Nomad, come on, get another Spurs or Man U fan. Full panel, please. Well, as you said, Abby in Iceland.
Spurs fans right there.
Yeah.
And you literally heard from her.
Yeah.
She spoke in this
Her real
in this
voice
stream.
as well. Definitely wasn't AI at all.
No.
But hopefully we should have a full panel back by Thursday. Big up Stephen Island's grandmother, who says, very important super chat this one, Ingrid Landmark Tandrevold has an even worse injustice in the World Cup than Miles Lewis Skelly. Do you care to comment about that, Matisse?
No. No comment.
No comment. Move on? Just move on. Seal says, question. I'm not condoning the abuse, but from what I hear, Oliver does not have social media. So where exactly did he get that abuse? I heard it was Ty knocking on the door of his house. Alan gives man a beard. Klopp plays rock and roll ball. Ange plays crack rock ball. Says Alien gives man a beard. Not Alan. Sorry, Alien. You're not Alan. Jay, imagine Arsenal without Gabriel Saliba and 7 more injuries. We will be back. Coys, Ange. People also talking about transfers. Look at the wages. 180 million versus 100 million. Levy out.
Listen, Arsenal without Gabriel Saliba and 7 more injuries would not lose 13 games. We wouldn't be at the top. We've suffered this season from injuries. I think that's why we haven't been as fluent. Because, by the way, to that guy, we've had a lot of injuries this season to first-team players, main players. But, I actually said that earlier, innit? That it's going to affect any team, but not 13 defeats. Not getting beaten at home by Ipswich, Leicester, all these teams. No, that's not good enough. It's not. You can't.
If you're trying to justify it, then yeah, you're gone.
Drop it. Listen, with those amount of injuries and that, dropping out of the top 4,
Of course.
6, I can understand.
Yeah, being 9th, being 10th.
Where they are, the amount of defeats, no.
Nah.
And then a lot of other teams, like you said, you pointed to Bournemouth.
Arsenal
Nielsen,
fans
their
always
best
crying.
player, all these guys missing. I mean, Solanke now must be wishing he stayed.
Yeah, that's a good shot.
Yeah.
It's a very good shot. Going down and winning the championship might be Tottenham's best shot at a title.
They're not
But
winning
knowing
the
spuds,
championship.
they'll only come up via the playoffs, says Ricky.
Championship got some rugged teams in there, fighters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not
Trust
winning
me,
that.
Imagine if they
some
went to the
tough games
championship
there.
and didn't win it.
Oh.
And finished like second. Because I think the playoff you get something as well, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a trophy.
So imagine they
to win
finish
the
second.
playoff final.
Yeah, so if they finish second,
It's
just
almost
didn't
the
get a
worst
trophy.
place to finish.
Second, yeah, no trophy.
Unbelievable. Right, let's go into Manchester City versus Chelsea. City beat Chelsea 3-1 despite going 1-0 down in the first 3 minutes. Kusanov, the error that led to Madueke to score Chelsea's only goal, but Vardy, Haaland and Foden saw City win the game. Before we come to Matisse, I know you must be seething because it was individual mistakes that have cost you this. You were pretty much cruising at one point, but then the bozo gene kicked in. I'll tell you what else is utter woke nonsense. Jackson patting Kusanov on the chest to say, "Don't worry, bro, things will get better." Diego Costa would never.
Bro,
He would
Jamie
smell
Vardy
blood.
would never. Jamie
would smell
Vardy.
blood and double
Bro,
down,
you should have whispered in his ear, yo, you're shit.
Yeah.
And we got
Double
85
down.
minutes left. Hold that.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
But instead, he's like, oh, don't worry, everything will be okay. I'll help you get through this game.
Yeah, I'll give you a chance.
We've all been
to
there.
Get
But
back.
what the heck is this nonsense, man?
But I have to say, Sanchez, the goalkeeper. Obviously, we know he's not good enough. But Maresca
No,
came
don't start
out.
there. Start with the question that you lot asked me months ago, and I
All right,
said, this
we'll
is the
tee it
day.
up, yeah.
This
We'll
is
tee
the
it
day
up, actually.
that I'm going to answer a certain question. So ask me the question.
Well,
Because I was waiting for this moment. So now you're going to ask me the question, right?
Do you need more money?
No. That's not the
Is the
question.
question.
That's not the question.
Okay,
The question was.
Because if you,
I mean,
if you do need
I will
more
take
than
this.
$1 billion,
I'll never say no to
I'm
the
sure-
money.
I'm sure
I'd rather
money
be
can
rich
help.
and shit than shit and poor. You know what I mean? So I'll put that money over here.
so what's that to buy?
Put that to good
is
use.
Is that a new goalkeeper?
Oh, I need a new spine, innit? Need a new spine.
Even
Yeah.
after over $1 billion. Spent.
Even after. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll come to you now in 6th place, and you're right. Back over Christmas, and Robbie was pressuring you into saying that you are in a title challenge. You said, and I quote, "January the 26th will be the day that I decide whether or not we're in a title race." It's now January the 27th. You're now in 6th after you had an opportunity to go top at Christmas. You must hold.
Ask me, am I in a title race?
Are you in a title race?
Drum roll. Do you want to know the
no,
answer?
it's just,
Because it's going to shock your mind.
The earring's now on the table.
It's going to
as well.
shock you. I know you've all been waiting for this. Ooh. Fuck no. No, we're not.
But I've got a new question.
No. You don't get to ask me new questions.
No.
Now I'm gonna go on my rant.
No, wait. Before you go in that
You
rant,
already asked me that question. You got your question.
Wait, before you go into that rant,
time, right?
Are you in a Europa League race?
Oh, it's late.
Not even Champions League, Europa League.
Robbie,
answer that one.
Robbie, I don't know what.
When what date are you gonna give us to answer that one? The Europa League race.
Let me get back to
Top
you. I
six.
got to check the fixtures. Let me check the fixtures. Because I actually had this one really, crossed out in the calendar. Yeah, I mean, listen. Obviously, they gave us a gift from God in the first 5 minutes. I couldn't believe it. I'm thinking to myself, wow, this kid is rattled. He's shook. He's been booked now. He's given away the ball. He's. If we keep pressing him alone, we'll get joy and we'll get a result out of this game. This is a clear weak point, right? Not to say he won't go on to be a great defender, but he's clearly shit in the bed. But unfortunately, we got our own problems. And that's what I said in the lead up to this game. For as much as Man City's midfield is leggy and tired and can't control games, for as much as they give opportunities in transition, they can't defend as well as they did. We do exactly the same thing. We can't control games. We got leggy in midfield and we give away opportunities and chances and have individual bozo errors. And that's exactly what happened. We didn't really offer a threat after about 15, 20 minutes. The game just petered out. It was a really bad game in terms of the quality of the game at times. I'm sure the neutrals weren't impressed. And Man City, they just played on percentages. And I've said so many times, Chelsea can't do what they did to us, we can't do. Knock it into channel for Haaland. It's a percentage pass. It's not an incredible, wonderful, ball out wide, but it's just hit into space and it's now a tussle and a fight. It's old school Premier League. It's early 2000s. This is the Prem, yeah? And Robert Sanchez, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know where he's going. Maybe this is another episode of Dora the Explorer. You know when they get the map? Where do we go next? And then there's just this big long trail. Man's going all over the shop. Out of the goal for no reason, unprovoked, easily lobbed. The manager before this game comes out and he says, Robert Sanchez, he makes mistakes, but so does Caicedo. First of all, what a damn disgrace to put one of the best midfielders this season in the league in the same sentence as Robert Sanchez. You can drag in Madueke if you wish, who makes errors.
I mean, don't drag anyone in.
Yeah,
you shouldn't. But if you're going to do it, at least drag in the players that actually aren't playing great. The player that scores a tap in, but then also doesn't track his runner for the first goal. The player that's missing chances hasn't scored in 6-7 games in Jackson. Whatever. But Caicedo? Oh, you're brazen. You are brazen to be doing that. That is wild. So that tells me that your eyes clearly ain't working. You know what I mean? Just like me. Then, so he makes that mistake, but this is like weekly, every game Sanchez gives us this error. And then the third goal, we're getting bullied. Just out-muscled. And Chalobah's distracted by the ball. Colwell's been out-muscled, been led astray. And Chalobah's not following the run. He's following the ball. He's ball watching. And we're 3-1 down. Chelsea, this is what they do. Chelsea, this is what they do. They show earlier in the season that they are capable. If they keep their concentration, if they play to their potential, they can be a very good side. But there was always in that time period, there was always defensive deficiencies in terms of letting in goals against teams you shouldn't, slack, stupid errors, and there was always a weakness. There was always a fragileness to the team, and they don't have.
You were right all along.
Unfortunately.
That's why you won't win the Premier League.
However,
that's why you're not in a
one last thing I'll say. When the manager says we're ahead of schedule and we don't need to... top four wasn't the aim this season.
No, it's not top four. First of all, he said it weren't the league. Now it's not top four.
He said in his press conference, we're ahead of schedule. We were fourth when he said that. Ahead of schedule. Next season, I was told we need to get top four. Not this season, in my second season. And then the season after that, we challenge. What?
Are you starting to turn on the manager after?
No, I'm not going to turn on the manager because it all comes from upstairs.
Okay.
It's like Liverpool fans turning on Trent. No. Talk about FSG. I'll talk about who actually dictates. Who's the puppet master? Who's the controller? Who's the people setting the standard? Setting up the squad, building the squad, hiring the manager. Who hired him?
Why you didn't buy a goalkeeper?
Same people. I
said. I got my mate Carlton. Big up, big Chelsea fan, right? Also a big reggae fan like myself.
Come on,
right? I said to him, I go, is that in reggae, Sanchez, the singer?
Yeah.
Right? I go, yeah, bloop, bloop, bloop. I said to him on Monday, I go, is that Sanchez the reggae singer or is that actually Sanchez the goalkeeper? Right? And then actually, when I saw the game playing, right, and I saw him get lobbed, And the way he ran out, right, I realised it is Sanchez the regular singer.
must
Because you
be.
know in that tune, Frenzy, when he goes, lift it up, right? That's what he said. That's what he said to Haaland, did it?
Yeah.
He come running out and said, lift it up.
And he did. And he did lift
And
it up.
he lifted it up.
And he lifted it up all over him.
Man,
Lift
lift
it
it
up,
up.
he
Yeah.
Bro. Hey, listen, man, you lot threw that game away, man.
We could have at least drawn that 1-1.
And why didn't Jackson, the great Jackson that you told me about, remember when you was
Where's that music?
playing the music, right? Right? The great Jackson. He was a striker. He should have banged that. I know.
What, the Palmer pass?
Yeah, a little bit.
So
It's
for me,
a little bit too much on
me,
it, but
I'm not trying to absolve Jackson of any blame because Jackson hasn't been good enough recently. But for Chelsea to be in the situation where Jackson is your only striker, because if this was any other,
Nkunku.
he's not a striker.
And when he come on, he did nothing.
Exactly. But every time he comes on in this position, he does nothing. He doesn't hold up the ball. He doesn't get himself into the box. He's there picking up the ball off the centre backs, pissing about in midfield, getting little touches. Poor. He's disillusioned.
Felix.
His head is gone. Manager doesn't trust Felix, which was why we go back to the
Why'd you buy
directors.
him?
Why'd you buy him 6 months before? At the same time as the manager was appointed, why'd you bring in players that the manager doesn't trust at the same time as the new manager? Back to Jackson. Jackson wouldn't be playing if we had another striker. Jackson right now should be on the bench. Jackson right now should be getting 10, 15 minutes off the bench.
Is Jackson-
Liverpool are bringing on Nunes. Not been playing well, not been taking chances. He's coming on just getting winners. He doesn't start. That is the level, right? You've got to be able to at least take someone out of the firing line, especially a young striker if they're not playing well. But we can't do that.
Is
We haven't got a
he
striker.
better than Tammy Abraham? Jackson.
As a footballer, technically,
I'd say no.
I'd say
As a goal scorer.
as a goal scorer, you could say Tammy's record goal scorer was good, but Tammy Abraham wasn't good enough either. That's not the level.
How
Talk
has
about
he
Diego
not
Costa.
scored that chance, though?
Yeah, because it's
From
mainly
Palmer.
Cole Palmer's pass is not good enough.
Right.
I don't want to sit here and say that Cole Palmer was poor.
It
Let's
was a
just get
poor
that
pass.
right.
It was a
Cole
poor
Palmer,
pass.
Cole Palmer, that was a poor pass. It's a simple pass, and you've not weighted it properly.
Score with your left foot,
So
though,
that-
surely.
You'd want that from a top striker. You would want that. But the pass is the main problem. If that pass is perfectly weighted, we don't have to have this conversation.
And
But
then-
Cole Palmer in that game throughout, not good enough.
And then again,
Not
like
good
when he
enough.
came off chatting up with Pep and that, if you're a Chelsea fan, you don't want to see. I'm not saying he can't do that, but maybe do that in the tunnel, innit? It's not what you want to see when you've just lost the game.
I just feel like read the room a little bit.
yeah.
Read
better.
the room. Yeah, like you're gonna have that conversation anyway. Pep is the master of setting up players to do this
Do it in
shit.
the tunnel. Do it in
After
the
every
tunnel.
game, Pep always loves to have these little whispers. Now, if he's lost, he ain't doing that. But because he's won, he's happy to go and have them little conversations with you and do all the smiley and the giggly.
In front of
you
the
gotta be
cameras.
smart enough to know, nah, that's a setup. You didn't play me when I was actually at your club. You let me go. So let me go down the tunnel. And if you want to talk, we can talk there. But I'm not going to stand out here and have a little gossip and a little chit chat and smile and whatnot. And it's, again, I'm not really bothered about these things because these things in the grand scheme don't really matter. What matters is the poor recruitment. What matters is the manager's decision making in terms of the goalkeeper and who he's backing publicly. What matters is all of these things that these are important things. These things are branches off a tree. I'm here to talk about the trunk.
Well, someone else who's got a few words about this game.
Oh shit.
That'd be something.
Dead attack and spent so much money. Joke club. Fans saying they need more depth. £1 billion spent. Oh my. Cry more Matisse.
Cry more Matisse, she says.
How can she send that prior to the Tottenham result because she thought she would beat Leicester, and then when they lose to Leicester, we still play the audio? There's got to be shame. There has to
There
be
is
shame.
none.
No, there
We
has
know.
to be shame.
No, but there is
We
none.
must
That's the
have
whole-
shame.
that's
If
the
we
whole
have
beauty
nothing
of it
else,
all.
we must have shame.
There is no shame. There is absolutely no shame. Big up to Abby for sending another voice note. Big.
And also,
No, fair
because
enough.
I don't want people to think that I've got favourites. Sancho, left wing, you got Matthias Nunes to cook, and a young kid that's literally shitting himself. You don't do that. Didn't handle your business, not good enough, right? So that's another player that's disappointed me in that fixture. I've mentioned the centre backs already. Colwell, Chalobah. I said when Chalobah came back, he's a good player. Is he a needle mover? Is he world class? No, still gonna make mistakes. Who else is there? Reece James, poor in the first half, getting exposed on that right hand side constantly. Sanchez, we already spoke about him. Just everybody.
What about City? I mean,
Not good.
good result for them.
Yeah.
2 tough games in the week. That's the other thing with Chelsea. I mean, because City had that tough game during the week, which they lost. I thought it was a real chance for you guys, you know what I mean? But City, back into the top 4 now. And on a charge, got us next.
I still
Man
think.
said on a charge. I know what you're doing.
No, they're on a. When I say on a charge, not the normal City charges, but they've had a couple of wins, isn't it?
Okay, fair.
And they're back in the top 4.
Oh yeah, no, that was clever. Nice one, Rob. I appreciate that.
But they got us next. Yeah,
He still didn't get it.
I still think City fall
Oh,
well short.
Now you're there.
Oh,
now you're
Robbie,
with me.
I'm getting slow.
I thought you.
on a charge.
I thought you did that on
150.
purpose. I was trying to give you credit.
because they don't want to
He's
say
a poet and he didn't even know.
You didn't
it.
even know he's a poet.
See,
That's
it's not
crazy.
one charge. You know what I mean?
115. We'll speak about Arsenal after this super chat round. Ricky says going down and winning the championship might be Tottenham's best shot at a title, but knowing Spuds, they'll come up via the playoffs. Abby on the Spurs trophy diet program says Soundwave. Philip, biggest pussy in the PO, is it Arteta or Ange? Hashtag banter. Yeah. James,
Jesus.
nobody condones abuse, but the statement released by PGMOL seems like a big deflection tactic, trying to change the narrative. I agree on that. Ange doing Levy PR. After they cheered losing to City, he literally mentioned in a presser that the foundations of the club are very fragile, says London Nomad. Rude's half-time team talk has been leaked, says Tanishk. Lads, it's Tottenham. You know them way there. And Matisse, what about the prediction of finishing second, says Tanishk.
Listen, I'll be real.
Yeah, that's true.
Hold on.
That is true.
Hold on. You guys got me doing a lot of content, and what happens is sometimes I get tired, and I be saying shit I don't really mean. If you listen to me on a weekly, you'll know I've never said that we'll finish in that part of the table. I've always said fourth. I predicted fourth at the start of the season. Now, did I get a little bit tired and say some things I didn't mean? Yeah, it happens. But I've never repeated it. I've never doubled down on it. So let's just leave it. All right? It was an error. Error.
Clerical error. Is that what you're saying? So you've lost your shine, just like the
Come
earring.
on, man. Second? Really?
Why don't you put the earring back? Why is the earring not in your ear?
Honestly, it was hurting my ear. I just took it out for a bit. But I'm going to put it back in a
So
minute.
it's not the curse.
I didn't have it in for the game. We still lost.
But ever since you've owned the earring,
You don't even believe in curses. You know this because
No, I
we
don't
have
believe
a
in
photo of you with
jinxes.
all the players running out of
I
contract.
don't believe in jinxes, but
Yeah.
the curse, I don't
There's
know.
no
man.
curse, bro. There's no curse.
I'd put it back in if I was you.
No curse.
Pause. Marlo says, top hot spuds, bless them. The joke that gets funnier each time they take the pitch. Keep Big Ange, as the earring goes back in, doing his bit for mental health of the league. Luke Davis, personally don't think a quality defender would want to go to Spurs. High risk of injury and conceding goals. Saraba says, Matisse is right. Keep them Spurs people on the panel when they get relegated. I will tune every day for the shamelessness and the shambles. No new shows. This is me investing in the future for DR Sports. Big up to you for the super chat. Subita, here we go. AGT, not every fan in the world can go to Anfield, but that doesn't make us any less of a fan. I've never said that. Find the clip of me saying that. I've never said it. Stop defending FSG for your own benefit. No benefit to me if I defend or attack them. Absolutely none. Be a fan first. Okay. It's outstanding to see you so nonchalant, you sausage. Well,
Wow. He's definitely talking to you.
Let me just clear a few things up.
Damn.
What I said on the last show is quite obviously what I meant. If you're in the Kop, like I was on Saturday, the Anfield Road end, the Kenny Dalglish stand, the main stand, I guarantee you, not one person around me mentions FSG. Whilst the game is on, you support the players. Again, can I criticise them? Of course I can, for the lack of signings, the lack of ambition. I don't think people realise that if I come out and attack FSG, what's that going to help? If I come out and defend them, what's that going to help? I'm just waiting to see what happens. If the contracts get sorted, cool. If they don't, then we can definitely lay some blame out. But what I'm saying is, get behind the team. That's what you should be focused on right now. Getting behind the team. If you can get to Anfield, great. But my point was, whilst you're in the stadium, and I've been there hundreds of times, not one person mentions FSG whilst the game is on. That's what I meant to say.
I think if you guys were, say, 6th, 7th, I could understand more at the ground, FSG out, or whatever. Of
course.
But let's not forget you're going for a title.
And the Champions League.
A title is the most important thing right now. It is.
Thank you.
Like,
so get behind the team. That's my message to Liverpool fans.
You got to focus.
We
on
can
the
sort
title.
that out at the end of the season. Whatever happens, we can sort all that out. We can do the protests. We can do all of this. But right now, get behind the team, and that is me being a fan first, actually.
Because we did say,
Subita,
get
it right.
If there's anything
I've never
that would
said
derail you,
you're less of a fan if you don't go to Anfield.
Well, we
My
did
point
say-
was, if you're at Anfield, no one mentions FSG.
we did
and
say
that's
if
true.
anything would derail you, it will be yourselves.
Yeah.
If you focus on those contracts, as annoying as it is, as bad as it is, if you focus on that and not the matches and not the game, You will lose the title
Exactly.
because of your, and then they may still not sign, and you won't have a title.
Exactly. So we might as well.
Get
What
a
you're
title
saying
at least,
is, you might as well get a title and get behind the boys,
Yeah.
right?
You
And
may
then we
as well
can
get a
deal with all
title.
that stuff at the end
Get
of
a
the
title
season.
and rebuild.
Yeah,
Exactly.
may as well get a title, bro.
Exactly. But these people from the last show saying I'm a defender of FSG, just get real. Wake up, support the boys. That's all you need to do right now. The end of the season, we can address that. But right now, get behind the team. John, what a season. Nobody expected their teams to perform like this. Big up to AGT, one of the only few Liverpool fans I actually like. Shout out to you. Omar, give Abs her own little table. Is Spuds how down? Shout out to Omar. Eric says, we keep talking about tough upcoming games. Honestly, any team above 15th in the Prem this year is a tough game, especially away. Deep league this year, I agree. That's why I'm absolutely cacking my pants going to Bournemouth on Saturday. 3 o'clock
Tough
kickoff.
game, man.
Do you know what? 3 o'clock kickoffs in a row for Liverpool. I don't
is that
know
game not
when
live?
that's ever happened.
That should be
Everybody
live.
wants to watch that.
Of course.
Bournemouth versus
Of course.
Why
Well,
is that not live?
whose fault is
crazy.
that?
Some foolishness.
The Premier League.
crazy.
Yardman to best of enemies. We need him versus X beef in 2025, says Triple J. Curtis, remember when Tottenham fans were celebrating Man City beating them last season, and now they're in a relegation battle? Karma, anyone? Say, one of our regular super chatters. I'm sorry, but Ten Hag won a trophy with injuries. Ange has to deliver. He said he does in his second year, says Sai. Barto, I remember Matisse on the Big Six criticising City's relegation form. 1 win in 11. Life comes at you quickly. Stay humble.
Yep.
Of course.
I was right to criticise because it was shocking form, and now you criticise me. That's how it goes.
Right, let's talk about Arsenal's win away at Wolverhampton Wanderers. You were there, Rob. Mike Oliver has now sent off 8 Arsenal players in his career, more than any other team in his refereeing career. Miles Lewis-Skelly sent off before the half-time for a tactical foul. Red card or no, we'll speak about that. You can tell this script has been written by an Arsenal fan, by the way. But Rob, seriously, we'll start on that because that's the main talking point of the game. Obviously, you came away with the win, so you can win with 10 players, right?
It was,
You said it was, yeah.
They were
But-
dad's 10 as well.
Of course, they were.
So it's 10 against 10 in the
I
end.
feel like this is the point of the show that most people have come in for today, to understand the rights and wrongs around this red card. When I first saw it, I was watching it on my phone at half-time at Anfield. My instant reaction was, that is in no way in a million years a red card. And I'll be super honest, as time's progressed, I have watched it back. I still don't think it's a red card, but I also don't think the decision is now as bad as it was at the time. It's not as shocking now because I have seen the studs are high, it rakes down the leg. But let's get your opinion on it, Rob.
It's still as when I saw it in that game, right?
Still as bad, you think?
It's the most worst decision I can remember seeing in a football game.
Not
And I've
Luis
been to a
Diaz's
lot.
offside goal against Tottenham.
No, let's just... I'm talking about an absolute shocker.
Right.
When have you ever seen... Look where it happens. You know, sometimes a referee gives a decision and you think, all right, why did the... It's a bad decision, but the player, why did he put himself in that position?
Goal scoring opportunity.
Yeah, that's literally on our D.
Yeah.
Right? That's one of those where every player...
From your corner.
Yeah, every player does it. Innit? You take one for the team,
Yeah.
get your yellow card, and you move on. Right? That's all he had to do. But he, for some reason, right? I thought when he took the red card out,
Made a mistake.
I thought he's taken the wrong card out. Yeah. Honest to God, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Then when I realised actually no, that's what he's meaning. I'm thinking, all right, in about
30
a
seconds.
minute's time,
They'll sort that out.
VAR's just going to overturn that and say, yeah, go and have a look at the screen and that, right? Because I was fortunate on Saturday. I was actually in a box, so I
The
could
famous Wolves away end
yeah,
box.
right there. Those boxes just above the away end are brilliant.
That's
nice,
hilarious.
It's brilliant, right? And I looked at the screen because they showed the replay pretty quickly afterwards. I was like, well, this is going to be overturned.
Yeah.
And then when I saw them playing on and I saw Skelly coming off,
Wow.
I could not believe my eyes, man. And honestly, it caused absolute uproar at the game. And you know when you can know a decision's bad, right? Is there's a lot of games I've been to where there's been a bad refereeing decision, but you win the game, and then afterwards, everyone's just talking about
Moves
the win.
on, yeah.
And then, like, sort of at the end, the people have said, oh, yeah, by the way, that decision, but fortunately, it didn't affect... No, everybody was coming out, and they weren't even talking about the win. They was like, what was that?
Yeah.
What a horrendous decision, right? And I know that the PGMOL guys, they've tried to spin it. Have a look at this because, I'm sorry, that decision, just like Shearer said and Ian Wright and all these guys said, was a horrendous decision, right? And listen, in no way do we condone abuse to anybody, whether it be players, whether it be referees, right? But I'm sorry, that must not take away from the fact that was a horrendous decision, because I see people trying to like spin back on it now, because obviously the PGMOL, I don't know if you guys understand how this thing works, but obviously they have a relationship with Sky, they have a relationship with your BBCs and that, and they'll be in their ears and they'll be saying, oh, you know what, this is making us look really bad and people are getting stick about it and stuff like that. So guys, can you rein it in a bit? Because the way Alan Shearer came out about it, the way Ian Wright came out about it, the way all these ex-players came out about it, right? But I'm sorry, they have brought a lot of this on themselves. Not the abuse that the referees got. Nobody should get that. It's horrendous. Players get it every week. I get it, right? No one's condoning that. But why is it with the PGMOL? This is one of the things I find where I think they're not fit for purpose. They never admit when they're wrong, because they're human beings. Every human being makes mistakes. I make mistakes. All of you guys make mistakes.
They've done it a couple of times. Remember when they didn't draw your offside line against Newcastle?
Yeah, but it came out way after.
Way after,
right?
yeah.
Nobody ever comes out and just says, you know what, guys? I think if they came out and said we got it wrong, we'd have moved on already.
Yeah.
Or it wouldn't be in the frenzy.
Yeah.
But because it's like, no, have a look at this. No, it's not wrong. No, how's the VAR looked at that and stuck with the on-field decision? Honestly, horrendous. And you know what? Everybody keeps going on about Michael Oliver.
Yeah.
What about Mars Lewis Skelly? An 18-year-old kid who's trying to make his way at Arsenal, right? Who's been given an opportunity and has seized his opportunity, is doing brilliant. If that red card stands, he's out for 3 games.
Yeah.
Dangerous conduct, 3 games, yeah? We all know what football's like.
Yeah.
Calafiori, who scored in that game, who's the left back now, he could come in for the next 3 games, have an absolute blinder, and then that's it. He's done for the rest of the season. He's just on the bench. What about him? Because he's the one who's been sent off for doing what any other footballer, whether it be Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs, would have done. I'm sorry, right? That they need to come out. First of all, they need to rescind that. The way they're moving at the moment, they're talking like they're not going to. They're talking like they're not going to rescind that.
That's stupid.
Also, let me give you, when you say what you said there, AGT, let me give you the inconsistencies and shocking way in which these referees operate. Because I ain't changing my mind on it just because people are saying, oh, you know, the referee got abuse. As I said, he shouldn't get abuse. But I ain't changing my mind on this. It's still the same, right? In that same game, Gomez gets sent off, for raking down.
Yeah.
He got a yellow card. That was his second yellow. It weren't a straight red. He'll be out for 1 game.
Exactly.
Right? He'll be out for 1 game. Skelly at the moment's out for 3.
Yeah.
Look at the 2 incidents. It's the same ref.
You could argue...
Before anybody says anything...
You could argue his one was worse.
It's the same ref in the same game. No red. Listen, honestly... They cannot cover this one up. That's shocking. It's the same ref. At that time, when I think it's Kovacic went right through the back of, I think it was Saka. I can't remember Declan Rice, was it? And then Howard Webb came out afterwards and said, oh, we don't like sending people off. He wants to see people stay on the pitch. That's what he said, right? It's the same ref that sent off Martinelli, right? 2 yellows in the same, remember that? In the same phase of thing, which you've never seen again. But 8 red cards on us. I'm not saying that every single red card weren't deserved, but 8. Well, I don't want to see him at another Arsenal game again. Personally,
I don't want to see him at another Liverpool game.
No, you're backing him. You have him.
No, I'm not backing him
Let
at all.
me have him at your games.
The Doku kick on McAllister, the handball Odegaard.
He's supposed to be the best
I
ref.
just don't think he should be. Where's
we should
this narrative?
I think we should go refless.
Where's this narrative coming from, right? All these pundits coming out saying he's the best we've got. Said who?
Well,
I don't think he's
that's
the best
what they
we've got.
say. He's the best. I think he's a poor ref.
Him
honestly.
and Anthony Taylor should be in a
I
championship.
say he's a poor ref. I ain't got no PGMOL friends or this and that, right? I'll say it as it is. That was a shocking performance by the ref. And even more shocking is the doubling down of the PGMOL. Come out and say, sorry, we got it wrong. That's it. You're humans. It happens. It happens on every single pitch right around the world. But when you now, that's how you never learn. You know what? You never learn from mistakes if you can't admit you're wrong. Me, I'm wrong every day in things, right? All of us, we're wrong every day. But you know how you improve? You admit you're wrong, you realise you're wrong, and you seek to improve. These guys there at the referees' organisation, they never want to admit they're wrong, and that's why they're not improving. Week after week after week, horrendous decisions. And that was another one. That was another one in the game. And, as I said, I'm still fuming about it. Yeah. Because when I'm seeing them now, if that don't get overturned.
Yeah.
The way I hear them talking.
The fact that he misses 3 games is ridiculous.
3 games. The way I hear them talking, they ain't going to get overturned. If that don't get overturned, honestly, I'm done. Just get AI to do the refereeing.
That would be better.
Get them out. If that don't get overturned.
The self-service at Tesco works fine every time.
That's the last.
Get some self-service going.
This is their last chance on this situation, right? Overturn it. If that don't get overturned,
what are you going to do?
I'm not doing nothing. I'm just
like a threat.
What can I do? We can't do nothing. I'm just going to sit back and say it's done.
He's going to get Ty on them.
Well, as we were singing yesterday, Ty was right, the refs are shite.
Ty was right. Singing that?
I was singing it. I was singing it. I need to get that chant started.
Arsenal fans that are watching this, can we make that an actual chant that you sing at away games? Let's get something out of this. Like, if we're gonna have these refereeing problems, you're gonna keep saying it every week. Say that song in the away end. That will be legendary.
Everybody who saw that decision just said to themselves, "What is?" And what? As I said, it's one of those. He's put himself under pressure, the ref, innit? Because it's one of those that even the Wolves players are shocked. Even though I'm in the box with the Wolves guys, like, oh my God, Robbie, man, what's he guys for? Bloody
the Wolves fans just whispering like, yo, that was kind of mad.
And you know what? You can understand with
players were as well.
You can understand with us. We've had a lot of bad. Look, we keep getting these decisions where you've never seen them before. The other day, the Saliba one with their head.
You guys are groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking.
You guys are groundbreakers. You are trendsetters. Trailblazers.
Right?
We don't see these refereeing decisions. You show us them first.
Yeah.
Man. You test them out for us.
We got a new one to try out this week.
Try out something next week. What you got for us next week, man?
Listen, I don't think it's a conspiracy, but you can understand why fans start to come up with these things and that, because it's just like, bro, what? How many more? I remember it's the same Wolves when I saw that Martinelli one. I'm like, what is that?
Everyone's got one with one ref. We've got it with Anthony Taylor.
We've got it with Anthony Taylor. We've got it with Michael Oliver. We didn't win a league because of all the times we got robbed. But listen,
like
you have to move on.
Who made him the best one anyway? Who? That's what they always say is the best. And I'll tell you the other thing that I think, right?
Should have a referee league.
Do you think that if you've got a senior referee, like a Michael Oliver, whether he's the best or not, him, Anthony Taylor, they're the senior ones. If you've got the guys in VAR and they're just your regulation refs, do they want to go against him?
Of course they don't. Of
course. On a decision. Do they, even if subconsciously...
There's a hierarchy there.
Do they go to themselves, don't know, man, boy, I don't only want to go against, be like you, right? I'm the ref on the pitch in, like, AGT, yeah. AGT.
No, I'm looking after Rob.
Yeah, you're going to make Robbie look like an idiot now. No, we'll stick with the on-field. No, man.
Do you think there was a super chat though, Rob, that said, them coming out and saying the abuse that he's received is outrageous? Do you actually think that is a deflection tactic from the poor decision on the pitch?
Do you know what, right? I don't know what to think of that, because I've seen a lot of fans say what that guy said. A lot. It's difficult to say because, we know that these abuse things do happen. It's unacceptable. We saw the other day the abuse that Havertz got. You see the abuse week in, week out that players get. Black players get abused for. You know what I mean? It does happen, and it's disgraceful. It's disgusting. So, it's just what somebody was pointing out to me yesterday. They're like, well, hold on. They've never come out with these things before. Is this just because of the amount of avalanche of criticism that they've had on this, that this kind of, they're using this to rein it back? I don't know. I would hope, because if they have done that, then that's even worse, because you should never use those things. Because people are pointing out to me and say, well, he don't even have a social media account. listen, you can still get an abuse without having a social media account. You know what I mean?
Course.
So,
but let's talk about the goal.
I don't like to speculate on that because at the end of the day, we know that terrible abuse does happen, right? And a referee, despite how angry I was with him, right, and I probably threw a lot of abuse verbally on the day, but I would never go in and abuse him on his social media account. He shouldn't be getting abused. It's a game.
Yeah.
It's a game, right? But, I mean, I'm getting fed up with these horrendous decisions week in, week out. We're talking about the referees again. The biggest talking point of this weekend is not Liverpool winning and 6 points clear. It's not Arsenal keeping the pressure on. It's not Bournemouth with a fantastic result. It's the ref. When I watched that American football game yesterday, I don't know what the refs call. We're not talking about the refs. You're talking about Patrick Mahomes or whatever. And that's when you watch the Australian Open. Do you know the referee's name who sat in doing the final? The women's side of the men. You don't know who their names are. Why is it in
But
football?
hang on, it's all right for us not to abuse the refs, which I agree with, but David Coote can abuse individuals as well. So where's the statement for that?
That's true. But,
Where's the
but then
statement for
to be
that?
fair, he has gone once that's emerged, isn't it? So
Well,
There's always
we'll see what happens
there's
on
always
that
the
one.
1% in
Yeah.
any industry.
Just before we move on, a little message again from Abby about this, I think. What's she got to say?
Arsenal fans always crying.
That's
Oh,
what
that
she's
was
gotta
it.
say.
That was it. Short and sweet. Right, we like them ones. But just before we do move on, great finish from Calafiori.
It was a great
I heard
finish.
Turkish say on AFTV that actually Calafiori is probably responsible for the best 2 goals this season outside of Saka's
Scored
goals.
that great goal against City, and that was a great finish because that was a difficult finish.
To catch it on the bounce and keep your shot down as well.
You know, man,
really good
I've been
finish.
really felt for him this
Like to
season
play him up
because
front, you know.
he's a good player, right? And I'll tell you, like at the end of the game, when I saw like Havertz, so he should have scored. By the way, he should have had a couple of goals in that.
Should have
game,
scored at least
right?
3 in my book.
And when I saw him, I was like, if he gets injured, Havertz, we've got no striker at all.
Calafiori, up
We've
front.
got to go into
Chris
this transfer
Samba.
market. But I have to say, you know what you said earlier about going down to 10 men? I could see, and when we talk about learning from mistakes, I think in the other games we've gone down to 10 men, it's kind of like, all right, apart from the Brighton one, we went down to 10 men against Brighton, we still went for it. But when we went down to 10 men against Bournemouth, we kind of went too deep. Same thing against City. Probably I could get that one. But in this game, when they came out in the second half, they went for it. And you could see as well, they were fired up. Yeah. Fired up because they were fired up by an injustice. As I said, it's like 18. Nobody's spoken about Miles Lewis-Skelly, have they? He's 18. He's gone off there thinking to himself, I've let the team down. What if they'd have lost that game?
Yeah, true.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Nobody's
it's
not heard
good
nobody speak about him. And as I said, now a 3-game ban. And we know how ruthless football is.
100%. Hopefully.
Calafiori comes in, has 3 great games, or say Timber comes over to cover on the left-hand side because Ben White comes back, does well. That could be it. That could be it for his games for the end of the season. That's how football works. Because of what? He got sent off. He's established himself. He's keeping Calafiori out over the last couple of games. How well he's done. I feel sorry for him right now.
Yeah. Well, João Gomez was sent off for a horrendous talent challenge on Timber. Typically, you'd probably get a straight red for that, but it was 2 yellows, and
Well,
he was
why
sent
didn't he
off
get a straight red?
10v10 in the end.
Somebody answer me that. Why didn't he get a straight red for that? It's the same game, same ref. Learn from your mistakes, man. Learn from your mistakes. Admit when you're wrong. Learn from your mistakes, and we move on.
Don't
People
try
get a
and
bit
cover it
upset,
up,
but
yeah.
we move on. Cover-ups are not good.
Yeah. Back into the super chat. Sai says, I'm sorry, but Ten Hag won a trophy. We got through that one. We got through that one as well. Bet you any money, Abby is still Ange in, says Alex Smith. Are you?
She can't be sure.
No comment. No comment on the matter.
Are you, Abby?
No, she's not. Anymore.
Bring me Sean Dyche
The look
now.
Enzo Fernandez gave to Sanchez after the Bozo moment, he clearly knows he's shit, but our manager says everyone makes mistake, so it's okay. He's our number one,
got a
says
defensive
Juno.
player, innit?
Matisse said Jadon Sancho is the the best left wing. Left winger in the Premier League. What a donut. Did you say that? Peter says.
Again, I retracted so quickly. Like, allow me to have my moments where I make a mistake, like you said. And as long as you apologise for it, and I did, and I said, you know what?
Apology in your
I
case.
said it on the very next Big Six show. I said, you know what?
Yeah.
I took it too far. My bad.
In your case, apology not accepted. Yeah.
What?
Well, we'll see.
You just said people got to learn from their mistakes.
We'll see if Flex accepts your
I can't
apology.
go through the whole season not saying some dumb shit. It's not possible. I
true.
got to say a couple of things.
Yeah.
I said sorry.
And do you know what? When people call us out, they think they've like beaten us by finding something that we said.
What is this?
Like,
Is this the chase?
go and get a life,
Is this
mate.
the chase?
Yeah.
Am I sitting at the top of the table just spewing shit?
No,
And they're just trying to like...
No,
Come on,
I think
move on.
with Robert Sanchez in goal, it's more like traitors.
True. Matt says,
Why don't you tell them what I said correct this season?
Matt says, house, the infrastructure, the finances, and the general strength for a club. Home is the feeling, the mood, and sense of belonging. Where are Arsenal at the moment in regards of these two things? They say the home is a house is a home. We'll come back to that for sure. Good super chat though. SW6 Blues, I told you about American owners. Football is dead. Drew says, Robbie, Matisse, AGT, good evening, lads. Absolutely love the show. Have a question for you, lads. Muller, Ozil, and KDB in their primes, rank them. I think the natural thing here to do would be put Muller at the bottom, but the geezer's still playing.
Muller.
The longevity,
Muller, he's won
international
everything,
career, club career. There's an argument to say
Muller's
he's well up there. Listen, I love
still
watching
going.
Ozil.
Still going. I think
KDB
I saw
still
the other day
going.
where they're going to offer him an extra year's contract.
Yeah, I think he deserves it. Why not? But in their primes, I would go. That's tough, because KDB's no longer in his prime. Ozil hasn't played for years now.
Probably
and
have
Muller,
to go KDB.
probably KDB, but Muller and Ozil, it's very close. Both German, both World Cup winners as well. Shaunak says refs are overly protected by the mainstream, always defending their incompetence. It feels like paid PR. In any other job, they would be sacked. I agree.
100%.
They would be sacked. If you make that many mistakes, you will be sacked. Can we get a charger for the laptop, please? The biggest irony by the Premier League on their website, I saw this, all right? They showed the Doku versus McAllister to describe a high foot. AGT, you full well know what happened that day. Yeah. How can you use that as an example on your website, as an example of a high foot, but you didn't actually give it in the game? Because guess what? It was a big game. You don't want to throw your mate under the bus last 10 seconds of the game.
Give it!
I'm still angry with that.
That was a kung fu kick.
Still angry
that was
about
another horrendous one, man. I couldn't believe this.
Simply Redman. These are getting boring. I wonder where AGT's love of FSG has suddenly come from. Could it be the club access he has received? Tell you what, the club access that I received is through hard work and dedication and consistency.
We're going to call you ASG now.
Call me it.
ASG.
It's got nothing to do.
ASG.
Yeah, call me that. Call me that. I'm happy. How long until Ange says it's his version of it's the history of the Tottenham? He's kind of come out already and said the fabric of the club and etc. etc.
Look at all the men that left. Nuno, third in the league. Conte's top.
True.
At the moment.
It can't just be the manager.
Mourinho's second.
It can't be the manager.
All you got to do is leave that institution. You will flourish. You will fly.
Yeah. Right, let's talk about Liverpool. 4-1 against Ipswich. Really impressive performance. Controlled the game from minute one. And actually, this was one of the first times where I've gone in at half time. Chilled. Right? In my match preview, I said, I'll take a 2-0. But what I actually wanted was 2-0 up by half time. We can cruise in the second half. Yeah. And genuinely, yes, we're top. We've got the best defence, the best attack, top in the Champions League. But this is maybe one of two games this season where I've gone, how nice is this? 3-0 up at half time. No stress. Put my feet back like that on the seat. There's no games. Space at row 73 of the cop. But do you know what I mean? It was just beautiful to actually have no stress and no kind of anxiety going into that second half.
Ipswich, though, isn't it?
100%. We must. And we did.
Unless you support Tottenham.
Exactly. So, yeah, listen, the first goal, what a pass from Konate. Takes like 3 lines of players out in one. Great finish from Szoboszlai, man. He kind of cuts in on his left-hand side, gives the defender the shoulder. And to hit that across the keeper with your left foot, your weaker foot, I think that's a great finish. And he was outstanding throughout the game. Left foot, yeah.
He was threatening previous game to let off those rockets, wasn't he?
Well, he's done it a couple of times, but we just want to see a little bit more. Yes, we love the press. That's why you're first name on the team sheet now. But scoring goals like that is going to just it's just going to make you adored, right? The second goal, Mo Salah, the goal that takes him above Thierry Henry in the Premier League all-time scorers list. It's just a fact. We spoke about this on Hot Topics this morning, so go and watch that. Is Salah better than Henry now?
What?
Well, that's it was the question. If you watch the episode, I still say no.
No.
But
he played more games to get there.
You don't need to worry about this generation asking that question. What you need to worry about is if Salah does sign the extension and he stays and he keeps banging in these goals, the next generation, they're going to be like, yo, is Salah better than Henry? And the fact that people are even going to ask that question, that's going to rattle you.
But what a question.
He's actually,
what an amazing
he's done
achievement.
it in more games, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, 30 odd more games, I
Yeah,
think.
well, yeah,
But do you know what?
Oh, we're
He's
doing
not
per 90s now,
but he's
yeah,
not
Rob?
a striker though, is
We're
he,
per
Rob?
90s.
He's a winger. He's a winger.
Henry started as a
Oh,
winger.
No,
we're
but
doing per
Henry was
90s.
an
Henry
out and out
started off
number-
as a winger, innit?
Started off, but he was an out and out.
Right.
Listen, I'm not getting into it because I still think Henry's the best player I've seen in the Premier League. But the question now must be asked: if you can even be in that question, you've achieved greatness.
Of course.
By even comparing yourself to Henry. But you know what? The actual finish was unbelievable. You know, to receive that ball after the ball's come over Greaves' head, the time that you've got to react to that cross and actually bring the ball down and finish. It's unbelievable finish. It can't go underrated, that
Listen,
one.
he's playing with I don't want to say playing with a chip on his shoulder, but he's playing with this kind of aura and this aggression that is why Liverpool win the title. It's him, Van Dijk, it's those spine pieces. They're playing like, I'm not saying it will be their last season, but I don't know how to describe it. It's a we must type mentality.
Yeah.
Like we will be there type mentality. Like,
and I love it.
You know what I mean?
And do you know
it's
what as
inevitable,
well?
Very inevitable.
Someone that you were slagging off quite a lot last season, Cody Gakpo. 14 goals, 6 assists already. We could be looking at a 2010 season, which is what we saw from Sadio Mane.
Yeah.
You know,
Him
Luis
and
Diaz
Gravenberch,
is
the
probably
two-
going to
the two
reach that
Dutch
as well.
players, the two Dutch players they're the biggest improvements. Because when I was looking at Gakpo before, it did feel like a little bit nonchalant. Is he an 8? Is he a striker? Is he going to play a wing?
He was never an 8.
I was looking at him for Klopp and I'm thinking, this ain't a Klopp player. But Slot, it is a slot player, isn't it?
slot player.
It's a slot player. And maybe that is the biggest change is for those two Dutch players. The new manager coming in, the new way of playing, or at least a new approach, has kind of, in the end, made those signings make a lot more sense because they weren't your hustle and bustles and your back and forths. But yeah, it's making sense now. He's been brilliant. He's been brilliant.
Yeah, and he scores another goal just after half-time. He scored one before that and got an assist. For me, it was the man of the match. I thought Trent was unbelievable as well. That cross was vintage Trent. Stevie Gerrard-esque to Torres back in the day. The way he's kind of wrapped it around the player, but it still literally lands on the penalty spot for Gakpo to finish is unbelievable. Yes, we can criticise the defending for their goal. Very annoying, if I'm honest. As I was leaving the stadium, that one flies in past Alisson. He'll be
What's
kicking
going on?
himself.
You left early.
You left because
No,
Henry and Salah are in the
92nd
same
minute.
conversation.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm saying he
Fancy
left.
it.
He said as I was
Didn't leave
leaving the
early.
stadium,
Didn't leave
they
early.
scored.
Didn't
Did you leave early then?
I was very high up in the
Whoa.
cop.
He's trying to
No,
go
don't
on
try
the
this
fast one.
narrative. There's enough narratives wrongly going on around me. As I was leaving, they score that goal and Alisson will be kicking himself. You can't be conceding goals like that to a team like Ipswich. But do you know what? I thought Liverpool, that was one of the best performances I've seen this season from them, especially in the first half. To be 3-0 up and cruising, we absolutely love it. The songs are flying around. So yeah, great feeling to be a Liverpool fan at the minute. I really enjoyed that game on Saturday
Big
for
win,
sure.
but expected.
Expected for sure. Absolutely.
Bournemouth is Bournemouth on your list?
Next.
Yeah, man. Got to
Right.
talk about Bournemouth, man.
Yeah, we'll come to them. Southampton 1, Newcastle 3. 2 goals from Isak and a Tonali finish. There was a momentary lapse of concentration for Southampton's goal, but again, big win away from Newcastle. Probably could have scored a few more. Another big win from a Merseyside team. It was Everton. And Dye getting a yellow card for doing this.
That's ridiculous.
Imitating the seagulls.
Crazy.
Utter shite, that is. That you think you can book someone for a celebration like that. It's
Look
absolutely rubbish.
Look at some of the fouls that are
What a
committed.
joke.
That don't. Nothing happens, and then someone does a seagull celebration. They get booked.
It's just ridiculous, right? Bournemouth 5, Nottingham Forest 0. The Cherries, with all their injuries, have torn apart one of the top 4 teams this season in Forest. And it wasn't just 1 or 2-0, 5-0. Cliver on fire, Utara on fire, Semenyo on
Tara,
fire.
Did you see his leap for that
Yes.
goal?
His leap,
How long
it was
did he stay
Ronaldo
up for?
esque.
Yeah, yeah.
Gosh,
This man,
what a header.
Gravity defy. He's not. It doesn't do gravity.
It's like he's jumped
He just
up.
goes-
Someone's paused it so he can stay there. The ball comes in, bang. What a
Bro,
header.
it was
Unbelievable.
That
What
leap, that
a
leap was,
header.
that was insane.
Can't be doing that against Virgil. on
And they had a
Saturday,
goal
though.
disallowed.
They did.
I mean, they're
Could have
on
been worse.
fire.
Yeah.
But you know what?
To Forest.
Hate to bring it
Forest
back to
Forest,
Liverpool,
who have
right?
been incredible.
But Matisse,
defensively.
Matt Sells has the game of his life against Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
Saving
Oh, yeah,
about
yeah,
7
yeah.
shots.
Yeah.
Let's 5 in the
Yeah.
week after.
Yeah.
But we have to remember how
Unbelievable,
great Forest have been defensively. Remember
Yeah.
that game against Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
Fighting for their lives.
man. Murillo,
Yeah.
Milenkovic.
And Bournemouth just go and smash. And this is off the back of that performance against Newcastle.
Yeah.
Cliver, great again.
Kirkes, brilliant. again.
Unbelievable. What a finish. Bournemouth, man, like, credit to them because, like you said, they have injuries. You know, Tavernier.
8 first-team
Tavernier
players.
has been a big player for them over these years.
8
We don't even speak
first-team
about him.
players,
He's been
yeah.
injured.
Tavernier, yeah.
You know,
Good footballing family.
unbelievable.
That is.
Evan Nelson, their big money
the big
striker.
money
But Utara with the hat-trick, I mean, who expected that before this game? And Forest, is it just a blip? Is it an anomaly? They go back to winning ways?
You have to give them the grace of having that game. And,
Sure.
Yeah.
I think, you know what it is with Forest, right? There's always, maybe not 5-0, but there's always they can lose games because of their style of play.
Right.
Where basically they give teams the ball.
Yeah. And then someone who can play great football like that, like
you're going
Bournemouth.
to get caught out sometimes.
Yeah. Listen, if Forest end up having a drop off and they do drop to like 5th or 6th, it's no disgrace.
Still been
It's been an
amazing
incredible season. So
Yeah.
if it's more of a surprise if they actually do stay in the top 4.
If they get Europe, that's an incredible
Yeah, of
season.
course, 100%.
Any Europe, in my opinion. Let's talk about the Sunday 7:00 game. Are you a fan of that time slot on a Sunday?
No, especially when the game was as poor as that last night. I
was.
mean, to be honest,
All that build-up
bad,
for
it
what?
was
To
bad.
be honest, if I'm a fan, I don't want to be there. That's a horrendous time on
That's
a Sunday.
chilling on the sofa time, isn't
But
it?
actually, I was chilling on the sofa. So I was chilling on the
fell
sofa,
asleep.
had a little drink thing. I was thinking, all right, let's see what I go on.
What was the drink of your choice?
Whiskey, right?
Nice.
The
the
game
Don.
was horrendous. One of the worst games I've seen. The worst team in that game, Fulham. The way I've seen it, the way they played against us, the way I've seen them play against so many other teams, I was just like, what was that?
Why?
They were scared of United. United were there for the taking. United had a horrendous game.
Yeah.
But Fulham did nothing to get anything out of that game. They didn't deserve it. And, you know, if
Man
you
United,
shoot-
I saw Man United 0 XG in the first
that's their only
40
shot.
minutes.
That deflected shot was their only goal.
Yeah.
But should he have been on the pitch? Lissandro
The
Martinez.
little two-footed
I didn't
jump.
like. How does he get away with these?
I thought it was a yellow, though. I'm not sure if it's a red. He's done that another time this season. What's he doing? It's crazy. He jumps
Why?
with 2 foot.
And I don't know if he's got personal beef left over from August when him and Adama Traore went at it together.
definitely is, yeah.
There definitely is something personal.
He was the
there.
only player who came on who brought a little life to the game.
But he
Adama
always will
Traore.
do that at least, yeah.
But everybody, that game was
Stale,
was
very
terrible.
stale.
Horrible game. And Amorim after said we still need to improve. Of course they do.
What did you think of his comments on Rashford? Because I felt like that was a bit
Yes.
out of nowhere. Like, we've already understanding that Rashford is not in the squad. The journalists are being clever because they keep asking the question. They keep bringing it up.
I don't like it.
Even though you don't need to ask the question. He's not in the squad for the last 3-4 weeks. He's clearly not part of the plans. We ask something more interesting, more insightful, right? But the fact that he actually said, you know what? I'm going to dunk on you again. I'd rather play the goalkeeper coach.
I don't like that.
Yo, what?
I don't- that-
what's going
that's
on?
out of order.
And
I
the
think
only
it's
reason
really
why I
bad.
bring it up is because if you're trying to sell this
Exactly.
player, you're not doing
not
a great
helping.
job of painting a picture of come and sign this.
you know what
this
it reminds
player.
me of?
You're feeding him to
It
the
reminds
wolves.
me of when Klopp kind of shunned away Sakho, Mamadou Sakho, the centre-back, right? Because he knew we were trying to sell him at the time, but he dropped him for being late and other reasons which I'm not totally aware of, but he was totally shunned away from the team. Every time he was asked about him, he didn't really dig him out. He just said he's not picked at the minute.
Just don't say
And then guess
anything.
what? 25 million we sell him
That's
to
what
Crystal
I'm
Palace.
saying. No one's paying for Rashford if he keeps getting cussed out.
To say the goalkeeper coach should be in.
Bro.
I think it's
What
one
are
of
you
two
talking
things.
about?
It's either, that
What
was
are you
shocking.
talking about?
I think it's either they want to make it so uncomfortable for him that he definitely goes because they want him off that way. Because sometimes them decisions come from higher up,
Yeah.
Right? Because I can't be every time I'm looking at United, I'm saying, come on, surely Rashford would be better than some of the players. You know what I mean? Like Højlund,
He is on way too much.
Højlund basically didn't touch the ball
Yeah.
yesterday. But I think maybe it's either an instruction from high up that, listen, do everything we can to get him out. Rashford was seen at the game the other day, cheering on the players and that. We don't want fans starting to think we want him back. Let's make him look really bad. Or maybe it's just,
Maybe
he doesn't realise
Is he really
how
training like that? Is he really training that bad?
but I just don't think you call players out as bad as that. I mean, to say that the goalkeeping coach could work harder. I mean, I just
What
thought
are
that's-
you doing? That is
I
shooting
just
yourself
don't
in the
from
foot
from a
financially.
selling standpoint, like
Yeah.
seller strategy, I don't understand what they think they're going to gain in the market putting a player on blast like that.
No,
I
nothing.
even thought the other day when he said that it's the worst ever team, I thought that was a bit.
It's not wrong. It's facts.
It's
though.
not
Yeah,
wrong.
but you don't say that stuff though, bro.
But do you say
protect
that?
your team?
I mean,
you don't say that
You
stuff.
gotta work with these players, and you're gonna have to work with the majority of them because you've seen financial constraints they've got already, you're going to have to work with these guys to improve them.
Maybe he's trying to get a rise out of them.
I mean, he tried to roll it back in when he done his, saying he made a mistake by saying it. But I'm just wondering, does he talk too much?
Well,
is he just lost in translation?
He's the manager of Manchester United. He's going to have to talk.
He did say in the first 2 weeks he's never spoken to as much press as he did in how many years at Sporting Lisbon.
Yeah, it's a different job.
What's the latest with Rashford? I know he's had these meetings with Dortmunds, with Milans. Does anyone want him?
None of them
going to take him?
At the end of the day,
none of them can afford those wages.
Exactly. Even when we loaned out Sterling to you, we still have to pay the majority of the wages, and you're Arsenal.
Yeah.
You pay people big wages.
You pay all the wages.
Though now.
That's what I heard.
Nah, I think we pay most of it, but I think you do have to pay a bit. But Rashford, if you're trying to move him on to the caliber of clubs that we're talking about, they're going to have to pay good 80%, 75% of those
100%.
wages. So,
and the last result to talk about, Crystal Palace 1, Brentford 2. I watched the game yesterday. Brentford, after missing that penalty with Mbeumo, he got redeemed. He redeemed himself, scored it again. He never misses penalties, does he? He never does. You see, Wissa was already celebrating before. That was brilliant.
Do you think, though, that that's a tactic? That's a dark arts tactic?
What, to encroach?
No, to celebrate before he's even kicked it. I think
just put the keeper off.
Because there was 2 players that did it, Wissa, and there was another player as well.
But were they doing that on the first one, though?
They weren't. But was it on the second one, a little dark arts tactic?
Is it just, I'm so confident in him, he's going to score,
but he
let's
hadn't
go
even
celebrate.
kicked it yet, and he had his hands up celebrating.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's a little
I've
dark
seen
arts.
no Salah going through, and Van Dijk's already doing that, as Salah's already going through.
Ross Barkley was celebrating his own finish before he even put it in.
That was true as well. But great win that on the road for Brentford. Their away record has actually been shocking, hasn't it? But Palace, Essa, with the consolation in the end, celebrated 2-1 down.
Poor guy, man.
Let him celebrate.
No,
man.
do you know what it is with him? You know what it is with
bro.
Essa, yeah?
First touch in the Prem.
I was so excited because when I seen Essa was joining from Millwall, first of all, Crystal Palace's recruitment from the Championship is top tier stuff.
Yeah.
So when I saw Essa coming from Millwall, I said, "Yeah, I'm a dig in. I'm gonna see this star. Elise, Eze, we got a track record. Let's see." And 30 seconds in, he scored his first goal for the club, first goal in the Premier League.
First touch.
And you know how hard they have to work. Opportunity like this doesn't come around every day. Premier League, he's buzzing. That knee slide, I said, yo, man, you're losing. You're still losing,
There was
bro.
a player down for 2 minutes. The game didn't even restart for 3 or 4 minutes because a player was down getting treatment anyway.
Yeah.
So dragging him back to the halfway line, let the boy live. He's just scored on his first touch, a little
So
knee slide.
close.
What's wrong with that?
Imagine what Nketiah is going to do when he scores. Then.
Bro.
He'll probably run around the stadium
Yeah.
about 3 times.
Shirt off like that.
Come
for
there,
10 minutes.
I felt
man,
for
there
him.
30 seconds,
felt for
right?
him.
Man scored, right? Nketiah's been there all season, ain't scored a goal yet.
I felt for him
17
because
games
he
ago.
couldn't help it. He couldn't help
himself, yeah.
No.
I mean, listen, you got to give him a pass, man. Was he 18 as well?
Yeah, he's I don't know how old he is, but he's young.
You got to give him a pass, man. But the only thing is as well, the knee slide, he did something like that. Like he's putting
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm
He
thinking,
knee
yo.
slides, he points to the watch, and I'm like, yo,
Yeah, hurry
we're
up.
running out of time.
Yeah. And then you can see the Mateta, the senior players, grab him like, yo, come on, bro.
Yeah.
But then again, like I said, there was a player getting treatment, so the game didn't even kick off for about 2.5, 3 minutes
I'm
after that.
standing there thinking, why you pulled me back to come stand there when I could have been celebrating?
Yeah, literally. When he gets up, I'll stop. 263 tie says we need signings, but big up to the lads. I was there Saturday and they did us proud. Robbie, please ask X if Spurs being shit is a colour thing. Says 263 tie.
Become a meme now.
It has.
Seen
That
us
has
become a meme.
millions and millions
It
of
has
views
become a
already
meme.
now. I agree, AGT and Matisse, as long as the players are playing at LFC, that's all that matters. Support them, says JQ. Sai, United supporters fell asleep for their game, woke up and saw that their team won. AGT, you can't fool us. You were FSG. You called FSG vultures in a tweet. It's obvious you sold out over club access like Redmen and Anfield Wrap. Congrats on success, but don't pretend you're always pro FSG. You're right. Back in 2021, I think it was, they tried to copyright the term Liverpool, just the name Liverpool. And I didn't like that, and I criticised them for that. But what's your point? I've criticised them. I've praised them. I don't understand what your point is. The success has got nothing to do with it.
You're eating, what are you eating, bro, in the box? What do you have in the box? I've never been. What do you have in the box?
I sit mostly
You
in
weren't
the
in the
cop.
box, he was in the
I
cop.
wasn't in the
He's
cop.
in the box, man.
No, I've been to the box a few times. No, a few times, of course I have. But I don't understand your point. I've criticised them. I've praised them. What more do you want from me? Go and spend your time instead of sending in super chats and trolling through Twitter to see what I've said. Go and
He
support
says he
the
wants
team.
you back in the trenches with
Yeah.
the boys.
Nah, listen,
yeah,
you
with the
can
real
say that.
scousers. Get back to the trenches.
Said it. I live
Get out
in
of the box.
L1. You know what I mean?
Hey, listen,
It is
you know
what
what,
it
right?
is.
The thing with the FSG thing, like, say on the Salah thing, yeah? And I told you that thing last week, what I heard about the...
You did tell me
Vlahovic.
that thing.
I'm not going to say it openly because I don't know if it's 100% true, but I got it from a very good source, right?
Yeah.
If that's true, you would understand why that negotiation's problematic. So, you know, we're not always privy to absolutely everything that's going on. But
it's tough. When you leave 3 players like that to the end at the same time, there's a group chat. All 3 of them in a group chat. Yo, what are you asking for? I'm asking for this. Let's keep bumping it up, all of us. Of course, they would be stupid if their free agents or those 3 players weren't playing each other's contracts off each other. FSG have put themselves in an almost impossible position because you have to renew them, but then you also don't want to put the wage structure in disarray. It's really difficult
What I'm
negotiation.
failing to understand is the point that Rudy is making. I've called them bad things in a tweet. I've called them bad things. I've called them good things. So I don't understand what your point
plus
is.
as well, you know the other thing about this, right,
Mad.
is that we're talking about Salah is 30 how much?
33?
33, 32.
Van Dijk's 30 odds as well, 33 as well, I think. or
Salah's
34.
32, sorry.
32?
Yeah.
Van Dijk 33,
I
34?
think he's 33.
Right, and Trent, obviously the Trent one,
Yeah.
he wants to.
Alan
It
Madrid,
looks like
I
he
said
wants
this
to
already,
leave.
Alan
Yeah?
Madrid.
But in the case of the other 2, they are players that are getting old. You do have to start thinking about life after these guys.
Sure.
It's just the
But
reality.
you know when the time
and
is
the
to
thing
do that?
you-
At
you-
the end of the season,
I
not
know,
now.
but you know the thing is about it, right? Is that as much as I think those 2 players are unbelievable players, I'd still keep them.
Yeah.
But what if they do break down next year, get injuries and stuff? The fans, which I'm one
You've
of.
crippled your club in terms of
I'm a
kicking
fan.
on.
You're a fan. We all do it. We're going to be there saying, "Well, why did we, stick with these guys? We should have been looking to the future. Why didn't we go and get this younger person?"
You can't win
Whatever.
sometimes, can you?
So it is a tough decision to make.
Yeah.
Ideally, you'd be giving them both 2 years plus with a +1 option. Obviously, you got to pay them good money because they've achieved and the level they're still maintaining. But a 5-year, very dangerous.
Dangerous.
It's not going to
game.
be that, bro.
Yeah.
But like you
But
just
they
said,
might be
bro,
asking for that. We
maybe.
don't know.
And then that's
Yeah.
when
That's where the problem
negotiation
is,
comes
yeah.
in. That takes time.
Yeah.
But right now, instead of seeing who's FSG in and who's FSG out, forget it. Just get behind the team. I don't know what
Win
point
a
you're trying to
title,
make.
then
I've criticised them. I've praised them.
If I was
I've been
an
up and down on
Arsenal
them.
fan,
That's just life.
God forbid, if I was an
Oh,
Arsenal
God.
fan right now, I would
Oh,
be
God.
I would be hashtagging FSG on Twitter every day. I'd be like, yo, FSG. You know what I mean? I'd be trying to cause some sort of ruckus.
And if you believe
Because
that I have any
this is
influence
the way-
over whatever happens on the pitch because of a tweet, give your head a wobble, my friend. Come on, wake up, wake up.
You did tell me there was. Yeah. You've got Harvey Elliott's number.
Yeah, man.
Oh, FSG
You're
gave
friends
me
with
that.
Jones
Yeah, yeah.
and that, man.
No, FSG gave me that.
You're not
to
one
be
of
fair.
us anymore.
No, exactly.
You got
Not one of you.
free tickets to the Boston Red Sox. You know what I mean?
Boston Celtics soon
So
as
he's
well.
got shares.
Yeah.
He's got shares in it. He's got shares in
This
it.
directly impacts my wages. Come on, guys. Just get behind the team because the longer we do this is what's going to stop Liverpool from winning the league. And then at the end of the season, we can do whatever
Keep
we
fighting,
want.
man. Keep
we can
fighting,
protest,
man.
we can do this.
If Chelsea-
Right now,
Niners, FSG.
Chelsea
believe.
was still second.
Believe.
I would be causing a
All you
problem.
have to do
I'd
right
be bringing
now
up FSG
is
every
believe.
single show I
Yeah.
do, just to get the Liverpool fans.
Right,
going.
let's get through these. Robbie, have you already forgotten Van Persie's red card? Says Freestyle. Not Freestyle DM. Now Robbie would blame Klopp as well for that red card, which should have been, says Red Indian. Owen, Rob, as we know, nothing will change with these refs. I think the players have to now get involved. If Oliver is called to be head referee for an Arsenal game, don't play. EPL will not change until money is involved.
I felt like on Saturday, I said to Lee, I go,
Walk
if I was
off the
Arteta,
pitch.
I'd just take the players off, man. Enough is enough. Just forfeit the league, man.
Yeah, I agree. Joe says the problem is inconsistency. As we know, Pedro's challenge on Timber is way worse. Same thing with Rice and Trossard's red cards. Where has that rule gone now? JQ says it's the PGMOL that needs an overhaul and a rebuild. 100%.
Yep.
Arsenal fan, refs aren't biased, they're incompetent. Look at the Liverpool game, clear red. We need to leave the point scoring when a set of fans points out a bad decision and leave out the tribalism, come together and force change. Yeah, 100%.
Agreed.
I just
Agreed.
said, you know.
I'll
Yeah,
call out
you
any.
gotta-
I'll call out any bad thing.
And I
Even
said
when
straight away, it's
yeah,
never
yeah.
a red card. I support Liverpool,
call it
but
out.
I look at that and say that's never a red
Call it out.
card.
The other day when that one in your game, I said, I'll call it out.
Red Square, stop saying they're poor. Why can't they be poor when it's City playing? It's biased to call it what it is, but if they're bad, be bad for everyone. Did you see the Joelinton tackle at the weekend, says Burkowski? Joelinton is a bit of a.
He's a dark art
He
specialist.
can be very good
Joelinton's
at.
dark arts,
He's a
man.
bit of a bully,
Yeah,
100%.
bad.
But Newcastle fans wouldn't swap him for anyone in the world.
he's a good player.
As
exactly.
they're right too.
100%.
Yadvendra, Robbie, where was this outrage when Odegaard played basketball at Anfield? I'll stick up for Robbie. So I remember interviewing you outside a very rainy Anfield.
asked me if it was handball.
And I said, "Is it handball?" And you
And I
said,
said,
"Yeah, it
yes."
was." So. This revisionism when people say, Robbie, what about this? AGT, what about when you said this? Matisse, what about when you said this?
I said it was handball.
Come on, man.
And
Come on.
again, how the VAR didn't look at that, it's mad.
You are
This-
just biased,
that's-
zero
that's-
integrity. He did say that it was a handball at the time, actually. So if you're going to try and reach and say Robbie said this, Matisse, at least get it right, because he did say it was a pen at the time. AFC fans, so funny, forget rivalries. We all need to come together. But they were fine with the most biased game in the FA Cup versus United, though. Hypocrites. But again, Robbie came out after that and said Havertz shouldn't have got a penalty for that. So
Yeah. And I also said that the referee weren't good. What more do you want me to do?
yeah, VAR has gone from correcting the refs' mistakes to basically becoming their lawyers, says
That's a
Corey
good one. I
Akar.
like that.
That's true. Ken says, as an Arsenal fan, I feel that the PGMOL needs to be open to admitting mistakes. Instead, they pretend the rule book is ironclad. If we can question our judicial system, we can definitely question referees, says Ken. Agreed. Matisse, will you take Kepa back?
No.
He's been playing well, though.
And that's why that is the perfect opportunity to sell him to Bournemouth in the
For
summer.
how much?
Whatever they're willing to pay. However important he's been,
the most
however good
expensive
he's been.
goalkeeper in the world,
Listen,
right?
when you have an opportunity to get someone out of your club that has been poor, you take it. You don't waste time. We signed a 1-year extension, I believe, till 2026 for this moment.
Who's better, him or Sanchez?
I don't compare shit with poo.
Fair play.
I don't
Spurs
do
are cursed. There's no way around it, says Air Race. Jikoa says, thank you, big brother Matisse. Too bad a game lasts 90 minutes because we are the best team after 60 before PSG. Allez Strasbourg. Maybe we'll meet in the Conference League next year, he says.
Is that a City fan? I don't know.
Or Strasbourg, I'm not too sure.
I don't know.
I'm
your
an
club,
Arsenal
innit,
fan
Strasbourg?
and will always love TH14 more than most players, Thierry Henry, but we can't confuse our emotion with facts. The numbers favour Salah, I'm afraid. The problem is, if Amorim doesn't speak the truth, Rashford's people will make more statements. So are you guys and media, all of media, say United is so cheeks, but my manager can't say it on wax? F out of here, says Black Wolves.
I don't mind him saying it, to be honest.
Tottenham are shit. Abby, any thoughts?
Just think it's not.
No.
Again, no comment.
Bring me
Keeping her
Sean
cards
Dyche now.
close to her chest. Your opinions need to align with their feelings, AGT. What's that about? Let me know. Hi, Robbie. Which injury is worse for us, Odegaard or Saka? Says A1 Candy.
The Saka, he's out longer.
Yep. Jackson equals bench player. Robert Sanchez equals Brighton player. Top 3 so far for Ballon d'Or would be Salah, Vinny Jr. and Rafinha. What a season Rafinha's having this year. Ref League says Funk Mastered. Ref starts with 10 points per game and loses 3 for every error. Can have promotion and relegation for refs at the end of the season. I agree. What happened to, remember when we demoted Anthony Taylor to the Championship and then he went to the Championship and made an even worse decision
and
there?
then they sent him back.
Technically, he should have been in League One the weekend after that.
Hey, you know what? Where's Clara Bitsy this week?
That's a great shout, Rob. Where is Clara?
Where's
Where
Clara?
are you?
Clara, where
Where
are
are
you?
you? Let's be having you.
Let's be having you, Clara, man.
Come on.
Did Chelsea lose a game? Arsenal win a game, you're gone.
Absolutely.
That's not really.
First time.
It doesn't even have to be a super chat. Just a comment.
Anything. Just let us
Just
know
your
you're
existence.
okay.
We want to know if you're all right, Clara.
Clara, are you okay? Are you okay, Clara?
Clara, are you okay?
First time, long time fan from Texas. Any reason for Palmer's shit touch all game and not attacking the lost boy playing defense? Says Garrett. Wasn't great. Was
No,
he?
he was
Again?
poor. I said it in my
did say,
my
you did
analysis. He was poor.
You did.
He needs to step up in these bigger games, man. He's one of our best players. We can't really, unfortunately, with all the money spent, when he isn't at it in that attack, it's not great. Right now, it's not great.
Right, we're wrapping up with that one. So as you know, Ange still unsure over the Tottenham future. It was an Amorim versus Rashford debate at the end of the game. The PGMOL crisis. Liverpool staying top, Chelsea losing. So much to talk about in this show. I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll be back on Thursday. But before we go, sausage of the week. AGGT, it says in here for some reason. 6%. Robbie 10%. Matisse 13%. And I don't think we've ever seen this, Rob. someone who is physically not here has run away
No way.
with the sausage of the week. Congratulations to Abby for
What?
being our sausage of the week. Big up to you,
I'm
girl.
very
That's
grateful for
Right.
sausage of the week.
Little belated
Thank
birthday present there. Sports are corrupt. Look at the Chiefs versus the Bills too, says Dake. MVP of the week, have we got that? I don't think anyone's the MVP of this week, to be fair. But we've just put the vote up now, so you can decide that yourselves. Robbie,
I forgot.
Matisse, big up to you. We'll be back on Thursday, won't we?
We
Another
will.
brilliant catalogue of Premier League games to come this weekend, including Arsenal versus Manchester
Arsenal, Man
City.
City.
Massive game
Could it-
at the top of the table.
You know, that Bournemouth game is a massive game as well.
It is
Bournemouth
Saturday,
versus
3 o'clock.
Liverpool.
Yep,
It's
it
a
has.
great game.
We must do our job. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate all the support with the super chats, the chats as well. Thank you for watching. We'll see you Thursday. Take care. All the best.